Hello beautiful people, and welcome to this week's video. Before we get started, do please, if you like what I'm doing, do please give me a thumbs up, a comment, subscribe to my channel if you're not already. It all really helps me. So we're working with our little sequence, although I'm not going to do the whole sequence today. If you want to practice the whole sequence, then go to the video before, which is the one in the garden, which has got the whole sequence in there. But today we're just going to specifically work with Garundasana, which is eagle pose, and the tree, which we do in the sequence. But we're going to start by just doing a simple little bit of warming up. So we're going to start by just doing some sways. So standing in your Tadasana, feet nice and facing forwards, and we're just simply letting the hands flop on the body, just to allow us to just bring a little bit of movement into the body. Beautiful. Then we're going to come back to the centre, and then we're just going to take a couple of little twists here. So we're going to take one arm up forwards and the other one up behind, and look along the back arm. And then we're going to come down, inhaling, going the other way. So looking along the back arm. We'll do this twice more each side. Again, we're just beginning to mobilise the tops of the arms, mobilise the midriff a bit more. Beautiful. So we're now going to come into our opening the arms, which we've been doing every week because we're working with Garundasana. So we want to have really lovely open shoulders. So we're going to open the arms as wide as you can, and then on the exhale, bringing the hands across, giving yourself a hug. And I'm going to invite you just to have a little shake from side to side here. And then we're going to just do it the other way. So opening the arms, coming back the other way. And then from here, we're going to just raise the arms up, so hands up, so we get the backs of the hands together. And just feeling this modified Garundasana arms, eagle arms. So feeling how that opens the back of the top of the back. And then we're going to do it the other way, so coming back round the other way, opening the back of the shoulders the other way round. Beautiful. So we're going to work a little bit with chair pose, because that's a nice preparation for Garundasana. So I'm going to turn round so that you can see me from the side to see what I'm doing. So I'm in Tadasana with my feet really gently placed onto the ground, rising up. I can even take my shoulders back to just make sure I'm standing up nice and tall. Thread, imaginary thread coming up through the top of the head. We're going to start with chair. So we're going to drop the bottom backwards, taking the weight into the heel as if you were going to sit in a chair. And then we're going to bring the arms forwards. Beautiful. So we've got the weight running down through the back of the heels, our arms coming forward. So you can probably already feel this I mean, everybody feels everything differently, but you can probably already feel that it's quite intense. From here, we're going to raise the arms up, but try and keep the body in the same position. And then gently take the gaze between the hands, also known as awkward pose. So a really good preparation for Garundasana. And we can come back through and drop the hands back down and coming back into our Tadasana. Then from here, we're going to just do a little bit of preparation for tree pose, which we're focusing on today. So I'm going to invite, first of all, just raising one heel, pushing the knuckles of the toes into the ground a little bit, and doing it the other way just to warm up the toes a tiny bit. And then we're going to come to the first side and just turn the knee out and rest the heel on the other ankle or just above it. And then I can feel that I've kind of moved, my shoulders have sort of moved over to the side. So just inviting the shoulders back. It may be that your hips are turned more, so just don't force anything, but this sense of feeling that you've got that leg really opening out, so you can really feel that in the hip. And then we can just bring the arms up. So if this feels like it's, you know, ooh, maybe I'm a bit wobbly, just stay with this. But if you want to see if you can come up and do a bit more balancing, you can always just put the very tips of the toes on the ground. And then if you want to, you can just raise the leg up. So we're just doing a little bit of a tree here to warm up. Beautiful. We'll go on to the other side. So coming from Tadasana, turning that knee out to the sides and placing the opposite heel onto the ankle there. And again, seeing what you want to do. She says nearly falling over. So, you know, some days are more wobbly than others. I'm generally feeling very wobbly at the moment. I think it's probably something to do with my age. And then coming back to the centre. So I'm sitting in a chair here because I'm going to begin to talk to you about Garundasana, that's eagle pose, from the chair, because partly because I'm doing a chair yoga class, so we're going to be focusing on eagle and tree this week from the chair, but also because actually I think that it's a really good way of beginning to get into Garundasana is from the chair. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by having one foot, it doesn't really matter which one you do, one foot rooted to the ground, and the other foot we're just going to lift it up and cross it over the knee. Now it might be that you need to bring the other foot in a bit to cross them over, and if that feels really, some people it feels really difficult on the hips, just do what you can do. You might end up like this or like that, just do what you can do, or even like this, yeah, but if you can cross the knees over like this, then that's really good. And you're trying to see if you can bring this foot back a little bit. It may not go very far, but I can feel how this is what's called an abduction. So we're taking the legs across each other. And then from here, we're going to do our arms. So arms out like we did at the beginning. Then we're going to give ourselves a hug, having the top arm the opposite of the leg. So I've got my nice hug here. And then either coming into just backs of the arms together, backs of the hands together like this. If you can come into your full Garundasana arms here with the fingers and the palm together, then fine. But otherwise, staying like this is fine. And this is I'm sitting up nice and tall, by the way, and this is a really nice eagle pose, just from where you are. I've got this lower foot back, but bottom foot really rooted to the ground. Arms are crossed over in front here. And then from here we can just raise the arms up and see how that really opens the top of the chest, the top of the back rather more. Beautiful. So we can do that on the other side. It's a bit of preparation here. So again, doing what you need to do with your legs, opposite arm on top. Give yourself a hug first and then opening the back of the body in whichever way that works. Couple of breaths there, and then we're going to raise the arms up and see how different that feels. So I've turned myself around now so that we can do the pose, and then we'll see if we can kind of come up into it. So same thing, we're going to cross the legs over. sitting up nice and tall in the chair. What I didn't say before was making sure that you're perched forwards on the chair like this, so that you've got space under here. So I'm going to do my arms, bringing this leg back a little bit, do my arms opposite arm on top, coming up into my Garundasana arms, so whichever version you do. And then from here, to start to actually come up into the pose, what you can do is to bring the bottom foot back a little bit so it comes under you a bit. And from here, raising up, so really imagine yourself being pulled up from the crown. It's a really good idea to do the Mula Bandha and the Uddiyana Bandha, that is the muscles of the pelvic floor and the muscles of the core, as you bring yourself up. So I'm going to rock forward slightly onto this foot and then bring myself up. And really seeing if I can take that foot, the upper foot backwards. Lower knee is really bent and I'm rising up, raising the arms. Beautiful. And then we can just drop the arms and sit down again. So we'll just do the same thing on the other side. So legs crossed the other way, opening the arms, opposite arm on top, and coming into our Garundasana arms. Trying to see if you can keep the bottom foot backwards, bringing that low leg in under the body a little bit, engaging those muscles, pelvic floor and core, Uddiyana and Mula. And then we're going to see if we can stand up. Oh, you see I had to put my foot down, that's fine. Put your foot down if you need to balance. And then we can, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, raising that back foot up. You see, if you need to leave it down, I'm just much more wobbly on this side, then that's absolutely fine. Just doing what you need to do. And breathing here, keeping those muscles nice and engaged, especially on the exhale, really helps with the balance, she says. Beautiful. And then dropping back down. So I've turned round again for us to just do a little bit of seated chair for those people who need to be in the chair. And also, again, just as a little bit of a warm-up. So one foot rooted to the ground, the other leg we're going to bring right out to the side. Now that might seem very simple, but for some people they have really tight hips and actually opening the legs like this is quite hard. So just doing what you can do, and then what we're going to do is we're going to come up onto the toes. Now I can feel already that that feels quite intense in my toe, so you can always bring, like we did with the ankle, the heel on the ankle with the foot, you can do it against the chair if that works out for you. And again, shoulders facing forwards, we can bring the arms up, and this is a seated chair. And if you want to have a little bit more challenge, you can just take that heel away from the chair, and I can really feel the foot and the legs working there, rising up through the crown, sitting up really tall. And then we'll just do it on the other side. So same thing on the other side, opening the leg, maybe resting the heel against that leg if you need to, chair leg if you need to, and then just doing what you need to do here. Making sure you've got your chest pointing forwards, beautiful. Okay, so we've got rid of the chair. So for those people who are just working with the chair, then maybe, you know, you stop here, or you can try a bit of what we're doing. But we're going to do those poses now from standing. So I'm going to start with Garundasana, eagle pose, and I'm turning to the side so you can just see what we're doing. So standing in your Tadasana, bending the knees and taking the bottom backwards, just like we did when we were going into the chair. So the weight's in the heel. I'm going to open the arms here to really help myself balance a little bit. And then I'm going to come up onto the tip toe of one leg. It doesn't really matter which one you do. And then bringing that foot right over. See if you can have it right over the knee like we were in the chair, but because everything's a bit lower, you can start with your toes on the ground like this, which is a really good way to begin. And then again, so we're doing opposite arm on top, coming into a Garundasana arms in, whichever is your version. So we're in the pose here, but we've still got the foot down. So if you want to raise the foot, some people can hook it behind that back leg. Oh, I'm not so good at that, as you can see. And so I'm just going to try and raise the arms up, keeping that lower leg nice and bent, engaging all of those muscles of the core and the Mula Bandha to help you balance. Beautiful. So we do it on the other side. So again, coming into your chair pose here, taking the weight into the heels. So I'm going to raise the other heel coming onto the toes, then bringing that foot over the top, opening the arms, opposite arm on top, and coming into your version of Garundasana arms, engaging all of those muscles, and if it feels good for you, raising that foot and even wrapping it behind if you can. I can't do that, and as you can see, I can't really even balance, but I'm doing my best. And that's all anyone can ever expect anybody to do. Beautiful. So we're going to look at the tree now. And so we've done it just in a little way standing here, and we've done it in the chair. So I'm going to attempt the full version of it with you now, which I don't normally do, but I just thought as we're really focusing on these two poses today, I'd give it a go. So starting in Tadasana, relaxing everything, maybe give your arms a bit of a shake and a flop down. Beautiful. So we're going to start in the same way, raising the foot up onto the toes, taking the knee out, resting the ankle, the heel onto the opposite leg, ankle. I'm going to raise my arms up to help me balance, and then I'm going to start by bringing the foot onto the opposite calf here, and then I'm going to have a go at seeing if I can come into the full pose. So bringing that foot all the way up onto the inside of the thigh there. I'm kind of really getting my balance before I let go of it. So I'm pressing this heel into this thigh here, and now I'm going to bring my arms up. So this is, you know, it is quite intense having the foot up like this. Not everybody can do it. It's really good to, again, engaging all of those muscles, the Mula Bandha and the Uddiyana Bandha in the centre of the body can really help you to balance here. You can see my foot is moving, my lower foot is moving around as I'm keeping my balance. And my knee is slightly soft. I felt my top foot move a little bit, slip on my leg there. So I'm having to really keep the pressure on to keep that foot in that place. Beautiful. So we can just come down and gently release that leg. I think I did quite well there, considering the fact that my balance has been so bad. Let's see how I do on the other side. So again, starting in Tadasana, really rooting down, rising up onto the toes of the other foot, taking that foot out. And again, starting off by resting. It's just a really good way to just bring yourself into the pose rather than just jumping straight into it. So then we can raise this foot up, bringing the arms out to give you a bit of ballast. And then either staying here, or if you feel like you want to give it a go to come into the full pose, I can feel this in my knee already, so I might not stay here, I'll see. You know, I'm pushing against there to try and see if I can keep that foot there. I have got a little bit of a dodgy knee, it's okay at the moment. Woo! It's just not the same on this side, so I'm probably better to stay here, and that's probably partly to do with my injury in my knee, but it's also just sometimes we're better at balancing on one side or the other. Really important, not on the knee. I mean, I know some teachers go, it's okay to do that, but I just think just good practice is not to have the foot on the knee. So either above or below. Rooting down through that lower foot. Even here, you see, I can feel I'm moving around. Knee nice and soft, lower knee nice and soft. Arms raising up, thread coming through the top of the head. Beautiful. Well done. From here we're going to work with the two poses together. So going into Garundasana and then moving from there into the tree. So starting by doing what we've been doing, so bending the knees, taking the bottom back, coming into your chair pose from here. We're going to open the arms to give us a bit of balance. Coming up onto the tiptoes of one foot, bringing that foot over to the side, then coming into your eagle arms in whichever way you want to do this. Raising that lower leg up. Couple of breaths there, raising the arms up a little bit. Whoops. And then from here, we're going to open the arms and we're going to bring that leg round. So I'm going to have a go at the full pose here with my good knee. So trying to find that easy transition between the two. And then we come down back into our Tadasana. Beautiful. So the other side, same thing. So coming back into your bent knees, opening the arms, weight in the heels, lifting up the other leg, taking it over to the sides, and then coming into your Garundasana arms the other way. Raising the arms up and remembering your Mula Bandha and your Uddiyana Bandha, which I didn't remind you about on the other side. So seeing if you can imagine yourself being raised up through the top of the head, lifting up. Beautiful. And then we're going to see if we can open up. I had to put my foot down there. I can really feel this in the knee, so I'm having to be very careful here. Always looking after your body, doing what's right for you. Never trying to follow somebody else. Always listening to yourself. Beautiful. Lovely. So we're going to just come down onto the mat or into a chair, whichever you want to do. And we're going to just come and do a couple of counter poses before we do the relaxation. So if you're in the chair, just sitting. If you are coming down onto the mat, then coming into semi-supine here with the heels behind the bottom. And we'll take the arms out to the sides along the floor, shoulder height, and then we'll just drop the knees down to one side, taking the gaze over the other way. And then coming up through the centre, going the other side. Beautiful. And then we're going to bring the hands, so we're back into semi-supine, hands down by the bottom. We're going to inhale, and then as we exhale, we're going to drop the lower spine to the ground and then inhale, raising the hips. So to any height, whichever works for you. And then dropping down again. Inhaling here. Then dropping the lower spine again on the exhale, and inhale this time, raising up the arms, coming up over the head. And then we're going to drop everything down, raising up the one leg into the chest, it doesn't matter which, just giving it a bit of a squeeze towards the body, maybe moving it around. And then we're going to take that leg out long, bringing the other leg up, giving it a bit of a squeeze, move around there. And then there we go. doing the other leg, coming down then with the arms down by the sides, palms facing up, letting the feet just flop out to the sides, closing the eyes, chin slightly down, and just spend as long as you like here in your Tadasana pose. Most important pose of the whole practice. We've been standing up for the whole time, so it's really good just to take a bit of time, just really letting yourselves drop into the ground. So thank you so much for joining me this week. This was just like a snippet of what we're doing in the sequence, which, as I said, if you want to do the whole sequence, you can look at the video that was done in the garden, because that's got it all in. Thank you so much for joining me. If you would like to support me and you're not coming to lessons, then I'm really up for donations, and you can contact me via the email at the beginning and the end of the video. So thank you very much again. Namaste.